Good evening and thank you for joining us. We begin tonight in Australia, where at least 16 people are dead and dozens wounded after two gunmen opened fire at a Hanukkah event on Bondi Beach in Sydney. Police say one of the shooters was also killed while the second was arrested and is now in critical condition in what officials are calling a devastating terrorist attack. And a warning now, the following story contains some graphic images that some viewers may find disturbing. CTV's Colton Prale starts us off.
A joyous moment for this Israeli tourist at a Jewish celebration on Bondi Beach during the first day of Hanukkah. That was quickly shattered just after 6:45 local time, when gunmen opened fire in Australia's worst mass shooting in nearly 3 decades.
I just saw an older lady get shot and she was on the floor. Saw an older guy get shot, very badly injured on the left-hand side, and I just saw a bunch of people screaming, run towards me. I didn't know what was going on.
Social media video captures the horror as the gunman took aim at the Hanukkah by the Sea event. Police say more than 1,000 people were on the beach at the time of the shooting.
The man in the gun, he say me this, me, I go before the car, yes.
He aimed at you?
Moi, there is one car, I say this, I'm cashed. I listen, boom, boom, I cashed.
Among the dozens of people killed and wounded in the attack, a Holocaust survivor among the dead.
I feel horrible. I have no husband. I don't know where is his body. Nobody can give me any answer.
Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese condemning the attack as an act of anti-Semitic terrorism.
The evil that was unleashed at Bondi Beach today is beyond comprehension. And the trauma and loss that families are dealing with tonight is beyond anyone's worst nightmare.
Police shot and killed one of the shooters, while another was arrested in critical condition.
The offenders are a 50-year-old and 24-year-old male who are father and son. The 50-year-old is deceased. The 24-year-old is currently in hospital at the moment.
Police say 2 improvised explosive devices were found in a nearby vehicle connected to the dead gunman. Australian police are continuing their investigation and say they've increased police presence near Jewish community centres. Colton Prale, CTV News, Ottawa.
Global Affairs Canada says it is not aware of any Canadian citizens directly impacted in this mass shooting, as community leaders here in Ottawa are honouring the victims of this horrific attack. Earlier today, Prime Minister Mark Carney joined members of Ottawa's Jewish community for a menorah lighting ceremony in front of City Hall. CTV's Kimberly Fowler joins us live now with more on the local reaction. Kimberly.
Well, Austin, Prime Minister Mark Carney shared some remarks at that menorah lighting earlier this afternoon, standing in solidarity with Jewish people here in Ottawa and around the world.
It is not enough to protect the Jewish community. It is not enough for Jewish Canadians to live without fear. Canada is not Canada unless all members of the Jewish community can fully participate in all aspects of Canadian life.
The Jewish Federation of Ottawa says it is heartbroken by the horrific and tragic act of terror in Sydney. The Federation's leadership has also been in direct contact with Ottawa Police and community security partners to reassure there will be an increased police presence at Jewish community events, including Hanukkah celebrations across the city. The Ottawa Police Service saying today it condemns the anti-Semitic attack in Australia, adding our thoughts are with the victims, families and friends. As a proactive measure, Ottawa Police have increased visibility and patrols, including around religious institutions and community centres. And Mayor Mark Sutcliffe also posting to social media that he is shocked and disturbed by the anti-Semitic terror attack in Australia and that we must fight, always fight against anti-Semitism, violence and hatred in all its forms. And Jewish leaders in Ottawa say the tragic incident won't stop them from celebrating the first night of Hanukkah.
We're a strong community and our numbers are not going to suffer. We're going to come out and we are going to proudly identify as Jews. We are going to celebrate this beautiful holiday of ours, and we are not going to let this knock us down.
And Rabbi Sher adds community leaders need to get out in front and put a stop to any anti-Semitic language, verbal abuse, or online threats if they want to see any healing and to help prevent future violent acts from happening. And again, Global Affairs Canada says it is not aware of any Canadian citizens who were victims of this shooting at Bondi Beach in Australia. But of course, the impact of the attack is certainly being felt here in the nation's capital and around the world. Austin.
Okay, thank you very much for this. CTV's Kimberly Fowler reporting live for us tonight. Well, first responders were called to the Byward Market for reports of a stabbing this morning. It happened just before 9 o'clock on Cumberland Street near Besserer. Paramedics say one man was taken to the trauma center, seriously injured with multiple stab wounds. Ottawa police are investigating, and any witnesses or anyone with information is now asked to contact the Central Criminal Investigations Unit. Taking our first look at the weather forecast, and very cold here in Ottawa. It was a day to get out skating for many, but minus 12, so you'd really have to brave those low temperatures. A little bit of a warm-up in store, but still some cool, crisp conditions to get through before things start to warm up. Tonight's low, minus 17 degrees, so again, very chilly overnight. Minus 20 is the low in Bancroft. Feeling even cooler with that when you factor in the wind, but minus 17 for much of the region, minus 13 in Montreal. That'll be the warm spot if you want to even call it that before we warm up to minus 7 tomorrow with some light flurries in the forecast. Minus 3 in Kingston and in Trenton, minus 7 in Gatineau, and a cool minus 11 high with a mix of sun and cloud in Tremblant for tomorrow. Well, the Ottawa Mission held its annual Christmas meal for those in need today, a chance for some to grab a hot meal during this cold snap. CTV's Natalie Van Roy is live in studio with more on how advocates are doing what they can during what is a difficult time. Natalie.
Thousands of pounds of food handed out at the Ottawa Mission's Christmas meal.
We did just over 16,000 meals from the food truck, and today here at the Ottawa Mission we'll probably serve just about 2,000.
For many here, this dinner helps them survive during a challenging time.
I would be dead if it didn't exist. I would be dead. I've been homeless now for 560 days, 565 days, whatever, but the cold brought me in.
John Luizzo is a resident at the Mission. He says the early freezing temperatures are taking a toll on those experiencing homelessness.
Zaps you. It takes the energy right out of you. And this has allowed me to have a home base, the Union Mission, and the meals are 5-star.
The Christmas meal served to a full dining room where anyone is welcome.
We're seeing more people come in under our roof for these special holiday meals, this Christmas dinner, people we haven't seen in years, people who have been placed into housing, people with jobs. It's just so hard to make ends meet for people that have nowhere else to turn.
The Ottawa Mission says the dinner setting yet another record during a cost of living crisis.
People appreciate it. They say they can't afford to put a turkey meal on their table. They just appreciate everything the Ottawa Mission, our donors, are doing for them.
With turkey.
Volunteers preparing the food, turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, green beans, and cupcakes.
They're enjoying it. Good food, good times.
A chance for this Ottawa Mission resident, Christian Gerard, to have a meal.
They make a very nice food here. I enjoy the place. I enjoy the food.
And this update coming from the Ottawa Mission only minutes ago. 18,275 Christmas dinners, including the meals through the food truck this week, were served, and this is a new record. The Mission will be hosting other meals as well for the holiday season, including a Christmas Day dinner as well as a Boxing Day dinner. Austin.
And just an incredible amount of food served there, and great work always at the Ottawa Mission. Natalie, thank you very much for this. Well, new figures from Health Canada show there has been a drop in the number of overdoses leading to hospitalization or death. A report released this week looked at the period between July 2024 and June of 2025. Opioids were connected to more than 6,100 deaths and stimulants to more than 3,300 in that time, marking a 22% drop for opioids and a 38% drop for stimulants compared to 12 months prior. The Public Health Agency of Canada says opioid deaths are now at their lowest observed levels since 2020. Potential reasons for the drop include shifting drug supply and usage trends, along with wider access to naloxone. Ottawa firefighters responded to a basement fire in the Byward Market last night. A 911 call came in just before 7:30 for reports of smoke in the basement of a low-rise building along York Street. Fire crews determined smoke was coming from the basement's electrical room. There were no occupants found inside the building at the time of the fire, and no injuries have been reported. The fire was under control and contained the basement before it could spread in about 30 minutes. And an OPP cruiser struck head-on by a pickup truck east of Perth Saturday afternoon has left several people, including a police officer, with serious injuries. The crash happened on Highway 7 between Drummond School Road and Drummond Concession 7 just before 4:30 p.m. A child traveling in the truck suffered life-threatening injuries and was transported to a regional trauma center by air ambulance. Paramedics transported 2 other people in the truck with serious injuries to hospital. An OPP officer was also taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Well, for some Ottawa kids, Sunday morning didn't start with cartoons. Instead, it started with a shopping cart. Children facing serious illnesses were treated to a private Toys R Us shopping spree, turning a regular toy store into something very special. It's an annual event, and CTV's Josh Morano joins us now with what has become a very significant tradition for some families here. Josh.
Yeah, Austin, is a partnership that started nearly 30 years ago. Starlight Children's Foundation and Toys R Us are giving back to families for a few carefree hours filled with toys, laughter, and a break from hospital routine. Inside the Toys R Us in Nepean, Poppy Roy Smith is making the most of a once-a-year opportunity. Yay! Her family is one of nearly 50, picking up new toys hours before the doors open to the public.
You don't really know what to expect, and then you get in here, they're like, oh, here's a little gift baggie, here's a $50 gift certificate, please go get your face painted. Like, they just offer so many special things.
It's really nice to be able to obviously come in here where it's like less chaotic and around like like-minded individuals.
Toys R Us and Starlight Children's Foundation Canada once again partnering to give kids living with serious illnesses a $50 gift card to choose their own gifts and meet some of their favorite superheroes, princesses, and even Santa Claus.
A lot of these families, their day-to-day is hospitals. It's a lot of hardships, and this is just a time for them to come around, smile, have that time with their families, and again, just be free.
Everybody doesn't get to go shopping sometimes because they have a disability, right? So this is a good opportunity for everybody to just get out and pick something that they've never had.
Jordan Ahi is back for another year, and he's not just buying for himself.
I've been donating to Toy Mountain too right now because I don't want anybody to miss out on anything.
For families like Poppy's, the hustle and bustle of holiday shopping can be challenging, so they say they're grateful to have this opportunity.
There's a lot of loud noises and a lot of things that we just can't control, obviously. So it's really nice to be able to come in here where it's more relaxing for him and a more enjoyable experience.
Shopping with kids like Poppy is not the easiest task always, especially when stores are really busy and you're trying to navigate with, big strollers and wheelchairs and everything. So having stuff like this, it just gives you a warm, fuzzy hug.
The event took place at 8 stores across the country, comforting more than 750 families during the holiday season and raising more than $30 million since the partnership started. Austin.
Love that from Jordan as well. Donating to Toy Mountain. What a gem. Josh, thank you very much for this tonight. Well, Indigenous culture took center stage at the National Arts Centre today for the 8th annual Indigenous Art Market, showcasing the diverse creations of Indigenous women. CTV's Camille Wilson was there.
Showcasing talented work from Métis, Inuit, and First Nations women artists.
There is a lot of authenticity, there's a lot of beauty and creativity with these people.
The 8th annual Indigenous Women's Art Market with more than 50 local vendors at the National Arts Centre.
I carve antler makeup brushes and as well as jewelry. I source my antler from Indigenous hunters across Canada, and I take the deer antler and cut it down from the whole rack.
Paintings, crafts, mittens, moccasins, and more. Jenny Lee Nottaway says she started beading at a young age.
My materials that I use, it's moose hide, so it's part of our culture
to harvest as much as we can from the animal.
Divya Kamalakanan says she loves to support and learn about the Indigenous culture.
I'm a person who likes to know the history behind stuff. I'm meaningful, I'm intentional. I don't just buy things from big box stores, and I want to support the local economy. And I think these people here have really worked hard.
The event is part of the NAC's Indigenous Theatre programming.
It's really important for us to be able to engage with the community, to support artists, local artists, and Indigenous women specifically. And it's an awesome opportunity to see what people are creating in the community.
Through each art piece is an Indigenous story told, traditions passed down.
It's very empowering. It gives us the chance to show off our creations. I started learning at a very young age from my grandmother. I started with with beads. And then I went on to more difficult tasks. I learned a lot from my mom and my aunt and all the women in my community.
And Kamala Kanan proudly showcasing her new finds.
These are fringe beaded earrings. She sold me these earrings yesterday at the craft market. I was here yesterday supporting the artisans.
Camille Wilson, CTV News.
We're in the process of collecting evidence and seizing items that we need to seize, search locations that we need to search.
After the break, one person of interest is in custody after a deadly mass shooting at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island yesterday. We'll have those details straight ahead. Before we go to break, there's a live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam. It is a brisk minus 13 degrees out there right now. Police have a person of interest in custody in connection with a deadly mass shooting at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island yesterday, saying the investigation is complex but progressing extremely fast.
We're in the process of collecting evidence and seizing items that we need to seize, search locations that we need to search. I want to commend the quick response of ATF, FBI. As the items get seized and collected, obviously they will provide the resources and the equipment that we need to ensure that we have the right legal requirements and facts in order to be able to provide that so that we can move along. I also want to commend the Attorney General's office, who has been standing by us to ensure that our process is continuing in a proper manner.
The shooting erupted Saturday afternoon in the engineering building of the Ivy League school during final exams. 2 students were killed, 9 others were injured, 1 critically. 7 people are in stable condition and 1 has been released. Authorities say they believe the shooter was using a handgun. He was arrested at a hotel in a nearby town early this morning. A community is gathering tonight at a local park where a previous tree lighting and Hanukkah celebration was planned to mark the tragedy. The flood situation is improving in Abbotsford, British Columbia today, with water levels starting to go down. Many evacuation alerts and orders have been lifted for the city, roughly an hour east of Vancouver, but about 325 homes remain under an evacuation order. Floodwaters also continue to cover the lanes of a major highway and other local roads, but there are also concerns about more rain in the forecast. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is ready to give up his bid to join the NATO military alliance in exchange for Western security guarantees as a compromise to end the war. The news comes as Zelensky met with U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and U.S. President Donald Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner in Berlin for further peace talks. The move to give up on aspirations of joining NATO marks a major shift for Ukraine. The country has still held firm against ceding territory to Moscow. Washington has tried for months to navigate the demands of each side as Trump pushes for an end to Russia's war and grows increasingly frustrated by delays. Well, a new survey is confirming what many patients already know, that the time between getting a referral from a family doctor and treatment can be agonizingly long here in Canada. As CTV's Maria Saru reports, that wait can be especially long if you live on the East Coast.
For patients across the country, the hard part isn't just the treatment, it's the time it takes to get there.
The data is depressing.
New figures this week show the wait for surgery or specialist care can be close to a year on the East Coast. But that's no surprise, says health expert Nadim Ismail.
The Atlantic provinces in the East Coast have always had longer waits than the rest of the nation.
The Fraser Institute surveyed over 1,500 specialist physicians across Canada and calculated how long patients wait between a family doctor referral and treatment. The national median is 28.6 weeks, down slightly from 30 last year. New Brunswick has the longest delay at nearly 61 weeks, followed by PEI at close to 50, Nova Scotia at 49, and Newfoundland around 43. The root problem is a shortage of physicians and specialists, says the Medical Society of PEI's former president.
At this stage, we're in a real bottleneck. We need to get more physicians and more healthcare staff in order to deal with the backlog.
Officials are trying to turn the tide. Health PEI's new strategic plan sets a target of 60 physician hires in 2025. But as of October, just 28 had been hired. The agency brought 41 physicians on board in 2024. Behind me, UPEI's new medical school is also expected to bolster the local workforce, along with more training seats through Dalhousie University. But experts say it'll take time before patients see meaningful change. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
American tech giant Microsoft gave Canada a big economic boost recently, announcing it will spend billions to expand its data centers in the country. But that's not all. As CTV's Jeremy Sharon reports, Microsoft also says it is prepared to defend the nation's digital sovereignty.
Physical borders. They are a clear visual indication of Canada's sovereignty, but in a digital world, they don't have the same power.
You've got this sort of meshing of borders where you've got multiple countries saying their laws ought to apply.
While Microsoft will expand data centers in Canada over the next 2 years, amid trade and geopolitical tensions under U.S. President Donald Trump, Canadian companies are looking to rely less on American tech companies to store their data over concerns about the U.S. government's ability to access it.
We have said that, if the U.S. government seeks data from a Canadian customer, we will stand up to defend that. If there's a legal basis, and there typically is, we'll go to court.
But under U.S. legislation known as the Cloud Act, American companies could be compelled to hand over Canadian data to U.S. officials if compelled by a warrant. Speaking with CTV's Question Period host Vashi Kapelos in an interview set to air Sunday, Microsoft's president was asked about the viability of his pledge to protect Canadian data.
We rely on our own relationships on Capitol Hill and with the administration itself. I have a lot of confidence in our ability to succeed.
But protecting digital data or defending digital borders isn't easy, says this professor who specializes in internet law.
The problem is if you get a U.S. court saying, well, not so fast, we want U.S. law to apply here, there's a pretty strong likelihood that faced with that potential conflict of laws, Microsoft may feel that it's got no choice but to comply with U.S. law in those circumstances.
Other jurisdictions are facing the same challenges with digital sovereignty. This summer, Microsoft France testified before a French Senate inquiry that it can't protect EU data from U.S. authorities.
Jeremy Sharon, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canadian budget retail store Dollarama has seen a major spike in sales, but Dollarama's gain is also a sign of the struggle many families face this holiday season as more Canadians struggling to put food on the table chase down cheaper goods. CTV's Kamal Karamali looks at the shift in shopping habits.
Take a look at these prices.
It's cheaper.
Cheaper is right. Food, toiletries,
Winter item and everything.
even holiday goods.
You're going here because why? Because it's the cheaper. Yeah. Only that's the reason.
Found here at the Canadian budget retail store Dollarama for a fraction of what you might find at other stores.
The value. It's all about the value.
Lena Ricci finds herself shopping here more often these days.
I think I saved at least $15. Yeah.
It goes a long way.
It does. It goes a long way. I could spend it on my other groceries, like my meats.
And she's not alone.
Last year, Dollarama listed its third quarter sales at $1.5 billion. 1 year later, just this past quarter, that sales forecast soared to $1.9 billion, That's a one-year increase of 22%.
It shows that consumers are suffering. It shows that consumers with modest incomes are hurting.
Since the pandemic, the cost of living has shot up. Rising inflation, interest rates, housing, and food costs, combined with the U.S. trade war, creating the perfect storm.
In the third quarter, we actually did see household spending drop by 0.1%. That's the first time that household spending overall has fallen since 2021.
While budget retail chains like Dollarama have thrived, the company says opening more stores in Canada and Australia has increased profits, but analysts say so has depending on the cheap cost of goods from overseas.
We're not going to find very many products that are made in North America or Europe. They clearly specialize in things that they can buy at a relatively low price.
Pulling away from the Buy Canadian movement that was brought on by the trade war.
I'm trying to tighten the budget. We have a big family, you know, we're Italian, we eat a lot of food. And
as long as it puts food on the table this holiday season. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Well, as many Canadians gear up for the ski slopes this winter, one man is shifting gears on his bike. He's riding through some snow, icy and windy conditions on a 6,000-kilometer journey through eastern Canada. CTV's Sarah Plowman has his story.
Donnie Eaterai is on the move, fighting wind, hills, and winter.
It's crazy to be riding in the snow.
Welcome to day 82 of a 6,000-kilometer journey to bike from Ottawa to Labrador, on to Nova Scotia, PEI, New Brunswick, and eventually Montreal.
I have 1,700 kilometers more to go.
The cyclist lives in Montreal but grew up in the south of France,
where there is a lot of sun and warm weather.
Not here, at least not now.
There is ice and it's really icy.
On the road, he's exposed to a mix of weather and landscapes, long stretches of isolation.
There is no internet, no signal. You are really lost in the nature.
Each day is captured and shared online.
Quelle belle journée.
Fans are following. I'm so excited to be able to see you today.
Someone cooked that for me.
Strangers have offered food, shelter, or support.
I think it's fantastic and a little crazy.
But he's also camped, fueled by granola bars and a sense of discovery. On social media, he calls himself Little Donnie.
I feel like we are so small in this world. And it's like the adventure is really big.
The cyclist has met a lot of people on his journey, and many ask the same question. Why is he doing this in winter?
I just love it. I just like it. And that's what I want to do with my life, adventures.
And so he keeps pedaling with his sights on the rest of New Brunswick and then Gaspé Peninsula soon.
There is a lot of snow. It's going to be icy, but it's the last push.
Open to the open road and whatever he finds along the way. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, near Miramichi, New Brunswick.
People don't show up on a given night for one table. It makes a significant difference.
Still ahead, the impact restaurants are seeing since Quebec introduced penalties for restaurant no-shows 6 months ago.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
It's nice and warm inside. It's kind of nice to put the suit on, throw the parka away for just a second. But as soon as you step outside, you're going to want that jacket. It is chilly, but a lot of people braving the cold and getting out for a nice skate here around Centre Point. A refrigerated rink and a lot of those other community arenas should be popping open any time now because of this early blast of winter. Of course, the first official day of winter isn't until December 21st, which, depending on who you ask, may be a little hard to hear. Here's a look at the satellite radar. Not a heck of a lot of activity today after a little bit of snow that we saw yesterday. Out east, we're seeing 0 degrees in St. John's. They do have some flurries. Same with Charlottetown at -2 degrees. Goose Bay at -12 and -7 in Fredericton. We are currently sitting at -13 degrees. We're amongst the coldest regions, the coldest cities in our region around Ontario. Sudbury slightly cooler at -14, Quebec City at -12. We're taking a look out of the prairies, which have warmed up significantly since the other day, but still quite cool in Winnipeg at -16, -12 in Saskatoon, -10 in Edmonton. But a mix of sun and cloud there, and it looks like a Chinook is likely rolling through because Calgary is at +5 degrees today, a significant temperature swing from just the last 24, 48 hours. It's raining on the west coast, 11 degrees in Vancouver, expecting to drop to -17 this evening. Chance of flurries to kick off the work week with -7 expected by the afternoon. And in the Ottawa Valley, similar conditions, -17 tonight, -6 by tomorrow afternoon. Along the Seaway, copy and paste those conditions over. We're expecting essentially an exact same slate of weather for tomorrow. You can see the warm-up starting on Wednesday with a chance of flurries or rain. That high of 3 degrees, getting above the freezing mark, and same goes for Thursday, a high of 5 degrees with periods of rain. So maybe some of those community rinks are waiting to see what happens on Wednesday and Thursday. But then we'll be back to the cool conditions. You see those overnight lows quite cold. Well, it has now been 6 months since Quebec introduced penalties for restaurant no-shows. If a customer fails to cancel their reservation, restaurants can legally charge $10 per person. But as CTV's Denise Roberts reports, there's division over whether the law is actually working.
Great, can't wait to see you.
Tuck Shop co-owner Jonathan Metcalf and his staff are getting ready for Saturday's service. It's their busiest night of the week, and with 40 seats, they have 2 sittings.
It's a curated ballet of how do we make sure that table is available for a given time while offering the best experience for other guests.
When customers don't show up, Metcalf says it throws that rhythm off.
If 4 people don't show up on a given night for one table, it makes a significant difference, not just in margins and profitability, but in operations.
Since July, Quebec has allowed restaurants to charge $10 per person for a no-show, and Metcalf says it's had an impact.
What we have seen an increase in is people calling to cancel the reservation, which is really what restaurants want.
Quebec's Restaurant Association told CTV News its members are reporting fewer no-shows since the law went into effect, and a change in dining behavior, saying that's what they wanted with the new rule, not charging a penalty, but having consumers dining in. But at McKiernan's Rotisserie, James Graham Simpkins says the law doesn't go far enough, and restaurants are still paying the price for no-shows.
If someone reserves for 30 people, but only 3 people show up, well, you can't apply it. You can't charge them the 27 people that didn't show up, because that's the way that the law is written.
He says every restaurant should be able to implement its own policies, including how much they charge when people don't show up.
It's not a public service that we run, and if someone doesn't show up to their reservation a few times, well, maybe the next time they want to reserve, we might tell them that it's full.
Simpkins says reservation apps make it easier than ever to cancel. And fortunately, most of their customers are considerate.
It's like going to your friend's house, your parents' house for dinner, or whatever it is, If you can't make it, it's not a big deal. Just let us know.
And it gives someone else a seat at the table. Denise Roberts, CTV News.
The University of Calgary hosted its Found in Space event this weekend and featured several exhibits regarding the institution's contribution to space exploration. Former astronaut Robert Thirsk was also there to speak with some to inspire the next generation of space explorers. CTV's Tyler Barrow reports.
Asteroids built to scale in comparison to the Calgary Tower, a model of a satellite University of Calgary students have constructed heading to space, and 3D printed mini rovers.
Canadians have been making a strong impact to space science and our understanding of the history of habitability on Mars.
The exhibit also shows samples of Mars-like water found in Western Canada, while Christian Keenan and his classmates are showcasing 3D printed astronauts and satellites.
It's important that the public starts to
get interested in this stuff because it is really cool.
The exhibits are part of U of C's Found in Space event, showcasing the school's impact that goes outside Earth and explores the future of space research and space weather.
We are like the top 5 research institutions now in Canada, and space is really part of that.
Bates says the school receives the most funding from the Canadian Space Agency, as well as strong financial support from NASA. Former astronaut Robert Thirsk attended. He graduated from the U of C in 1976 in mechanical engineering. He's helping shed light on the work his former school is doing.
The University of Calgary has a distinguished history in space science. We're the world leaders in terms of this phenomenon called space weather.
Thirsk went to space twice, first in 1996 and again in 2009. His focus now, helping others reach their potential.
Put a solid science and engineering education under their dreams, and then get the support from others to help realize those dreams. That's important to me now.
As some here carry that same dream.
It would just mean the world to me because it's been a lifelong passion and dream of mine.
Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Calgary.
A lot of kids do seem to get bullied online, and there's a lot of influences online.
Still ahead, calls for tougher regulations around social media use to protect children in Canada after Australia banned kids under the age of 16 from having accounts on social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok. In case you missed it this week, all across the Ottawa area, skaters are lacing up and heading outside thanks to a growing number of refrigerated rinks that are open for the season. CTV's Dave Charbonneau takes a look at where some of those rinks are.
It's a chance to get back on the ice.
I think it's fantastic. I've been waiting for it to open, and so this is great. The ice is perfect. They maintain it well. It's really cold today, but there's a heated place to sit, so it's excellent.
There are now several refrigerated rinks in the Ottawa area, including the Rink of Dreams at City Hall, Centrepoint, and Lansdowne Park, and now also at Rideau Hall, one of the oldest rinks in Canada.
I'm from GTA, so I remember there's skateways, Richmond Hill, north of the city that are the same technology, been around for 15, 20 years, so.
And this new outdoor rink at the Elmer Marina location in Gatineau.
It's really a good investment. We needed that in Gatineau, especially in that part of Gatineau.
For now, these outdoor refrigerated rinks provide a choice for winter skaters.
That's the idea. They want people to enjoy winter as long as it lasts and maybe a little bit more, until this rink will be open until March 15.
As for the Rideau Canal Skateway, the largest in Canada, the National Capital Commission says crews will be out in the coming days to start flooding. Right now, the ice remains too thin, and it's not safe. For some, the refrigerated rinks mean more time on the ice, even when the temperatures don't agree.
Last year, I was on it as late as you could go, and it felt like spring in the air, but it was winter on my feet.
Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
The Canadian Centre for Child Protection says Canada needs tougher regulations around social media use to protect children. A call that comes after Australia banned kids under the age of 16 from having accounts on social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok. But as CTV's Jeff Keel reports, not everyone is convinced a ban will work.
Ask most young people if they use social media, and you'll likely get this answer.
Pretty often. It's tends to be into my day-to-day life. It's how I reconnect with a lot of people.
Talicia Berdebois says that way to connect has pros and cons for people her age and younger.
A lot of kids do seem to get bullied online, and there's a lot of influences online, negative and positive.
The Canadian Centre for Child Protection supports Australia's under-16 move. While they'd like to see something like that here, they say Canada first needs a regulatory framework around social media use. As social media is damaging to children in a countless number of ways.
Social media is not necessary in those younger ages, and in fact, as we've seen, causes a fair bit of harm.
The Canadian Centre for Child Protection supports Australia's restrictions, and they want a similar approach here. They say the current self-regulation model isn't working, as social media is damaging to children in a countless number of ways.
We know that there are algorithms that are pushing content to kids that they're perhaps not understanding or recognizing that it is being pushed to them. Things like self-harm content, pornography content.
But not everyone is convinced the ban is feasible.
I am skeptical. I'll await the results, but I think overall, this is going to be a bigger challenge that needs to be addressed globally.
Some tech experts question how this will be enforced and say children will find ways to get around this.
It may also push people to parts of the internet that just aren't safe, that may not be social media platforms to begin with.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
It takes $6,900 at a minimum to follow your team all the way to the final.
If you want to go to the World Cup, you may have to pay an arm and a leg. We'll talk about what soccer fans can expect for ticket prices right after the break. The Bell Media building is lit up this year. Look at that. It is bigger and brighter this year thanks to our good friends at Christmas Decor from Neutralon. So very... And in tonight's big picture, national champions from 60 countries gathered in Dubai this weekend for the inaugural Red Bull Tetris World Final, which saw over 2,000 drones light up the sky. Incredible images. This is the world's largest Tetris game ever created in the sky, and it's a landmark in global esports competition. There were 2 days of exciting head-to-head duels before today's final, with Femi Atalar becoming the first global champion. Turning now to some of the other stories that you need to know, and for this we bring in CTV's Kimberly Fowler. Kimberly.
Well, thanks, Austin. As we know that the World Cup tickets, they are the sales for them are underway, but a lot of fans are having second thoughts about purchasing them because ticket prices are reaching into the thousands of dollars.
It takes $6,900 at a minimum to follow your team all the way to the final. This is 5 times more expensive than Qatar.
Fans have until January 13th to enter the draw. Many say the prices are outrageous. For example, Canada plays its first game in Toronto, and the cheapest ticket is $1,300. The most expensive is going for more than $3,000. Soccer fans have described the costs as extortionate, and the fan organization Global Supporters Europe is calling on FIFA to immediately halt ticket sales. Well, and check this out. This was a scene at a stadium in India over the weekend that turned incredibly ugly after what was supposed to be a joyous visit by soccer superstar Lionel Messi. Fans trashed the stadium, angry with how the visit was handled. Now, when Messi arrived, he was surrounded by officials. Some in the stadium say they left furious because they couldn't see him and that the soccer star left earlier than expected. Some also saying that they paid the equivalent of a month's salary to attend the event. And closer to home, music lovers are preparing for a special night at St. Matthew's Church in the Glebe. Grammy Award-winning and Canadian bass baritone Gerald Finley is taking to the stage for a special concert. The show is celebrating the festive season, and it all starts at 7:30. And the show is also to mark the 50th anniversary of the 13th Strings Chamber Orchestra. So it looks like that'll be good stuff happening in the Glebe tonight. A lot of festivities happening.
Like you said, very festive as well. Just wanted to go back to those World Cup tickets. How much would you pay to see Canada and Italy, for example?
Oh, okay. I'd probably pay like maybe $1,000.
That's insane.
Maybe
$1,000?
Yeah. Growing up near Woodbridge, very Italian community, I would totally do it.
You can get a lot of slices of pizza for that, so not for me. Coming up, don't expect, well, Santa Claus. We did have video. We will have it back, but we'll have more on a massive inflatable Santa Claus. It's the talk of the town in an Ontario community, but that is a live look through our Centennial glass sky cam. It is minus 13 degrees right now.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Here's a recap of the top local stories we're following right now.
We are going to celebrate this beautiful holiday of ours, and we are not going to let this knock us down.
Reaction in Ottawa continues to pour in after a horrific anti-Semitic terror attack in Australia that claimed the lives of at least 16 people.
We're seeing more people come in under our roof for these special holiday meals.
The Ottawa Mission serving up its Christmas meal to those in need in our community as many struggle to stay warm and fed this holiday season. And a special shopping spree for dozens of sick kids in our community. Toys R Us opening its doors early for a highly anticipated shopping spree event. And one last look at the weather forecast. Expect things to be cold when you wake up, minus 17 degrees. Chance of some flurries, but probably not an overwhelming amount of snow. We do expect more to come down, at least more precipitation on Wednesday, but you've got that high of plus 3 degrees, getting above the freezing mark on Wednesday and Thursday, so we will wait until then. Finally for us tonight, a towering decoration.
Yeah, a man in Timmins is the talk of the town after setting up a 40-foot Santa Claus on his front lawn.
I was just Googling stuff one day and I come across small Santas, so I Googled world's largest Santa and he came up.
And there he is. The massive inflatable Santa has become a local attraction in Timmins. I love how he has basically no other decorations.
It doesn't need any more. There's no room.
Exactly. Bought it for $2,500 online. Says people are loving it, and why not?
Of course.
Except maybe the HOA. If he's got one of those.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Blocks his
that.
view, but whatever.
Yeah,
it's Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a good night.